From the moment I placed that ring on your finger, my world shifted. The air felt different. The weight of my name, my legacy, even my crown, all of it felt lighter when I looked at you standing beside me, glowing, strong, and mine. You were never just the woman I loved. You were always meant to be the woman I would vow my forever to. And now that day has come and gone, and still, every morning I wake up beside you, I feel like I'm living in a prayer answered. I proudly call you my wife, not out of possession, but out of awe, out of endless, humbling gratitude. You are my favorite victory. In a life filled with duty, boundaries, and appearances, you are the one thing I fought for purely from the soul. They told me love like ours would be complicated. They warned me about expectation, about perception, about tradition. But when I saw you, I didn't see any of that. I saw a future I was willing to protect. A fire I'd never let anyone extinguish. You were never a decision I made with logic. You were a knowing etched into my very bones. And now, when I say the word, wife, it tastes like joy. You wear your crown differently. It isn't made of diamonds, but of grace. It isn't held up by title, but by the way you speak kindness into every space you enter. I've watched you turn cold rooms warm. I've seen leaders pause when you speak, not because of who you married, but because of who you are. That is what makes me proud. That my wife is not defined by being mine. She is defined by being entirely, exquisitely herself. And that self is more than I ever dreamed of loving. Sometimes I look at you and wonder if you truly know how much you've changed my life. Not with grand gestures, but with the smallest moments. The quiet way you listen. The gentle way you remind me I am more than my image. The way you touch my hand beneath the table just to remind me I'm not alone. You have made a home out of me. You have brought light into corners of my soul I had long given up on. I no longer fear vulnerability because of you. You've taught me that strength isn't in never breaking, it's in being held while you do. In the silence of our private world, I've told you things I've never said aloud. And you never turned away. You looked me in the eyes and said, I see you, I still choose you. That is the kind of woman I now call my wife, a woman who does not flinch at the weight I carry, but stands beneath it with me, hand in hand. Every part of our life together feels sacred. The shared glances across a crowded room. The stolen laughter between state meetings. The way you curl against me at night as if our hearts were built to beat in rhythm. These are the moments the world does not see, but they are the foundation of everything I do. You give me reason to return home with urgency. You make the silence of my palace echo with purpose. Your love fills every empty space I used to mask with poetry. Before you, I wrote verses about love I had never lived. Now, I write from truth. Every word I pen has a face, a name, a heartbeat. You've brought meaning to my metaphors. You've turned fiction into memory. I don't just write about love anymore, I live it, every single day. And if the world never reads another of my poems, I will be at peace, because you, my wife, are the only audience I ever needed. When I walk beside you, I feel complete. It's not about the admiration we receive or the cameras that try to capture us. It's about the quiet knowledge that I married my best friend. My confidant. My calm in every storm. You know me in a way that few ever could, not because you tried to change me, but because you chose to understand me. You've never asked me to be more than I am, only to be honest, only to be real. And in that space, love has flourished. Our union is not perfect, but it is powerful. It is not staged, but it is sacred. It is built on truth, on trust, and on tenacity. We have had to fight, not with each other, but for each other. Against expectation. Against scrutiny. Against everything that tried to tell us this was impossible. And now, here we are, defying every prediction, walking hand in hand through a life we built with nothing but love and bravery. I proudly call you my wife, because you are the bravest person I know. You've brought softness to a world that once only taught me to be hard. You've taught me that emotion isn't weakness, that tenderness is a form of courage. I've seen you hold my fears as gently as you hold my triumphs. I've watched you honor my name, not through words, but through the loyalty in your actions. And in doing so, you have written your own legacy, one of grace, resilience, and fierce devotion. When I hear the word, home, now, I don't think of buildings or borders. I think of your voice calling me to dinner. There were days when I doubted. Not him, but whether the world would allow us to be. But he never wavered. His decisions, as always, were simple and sharp. Trust me, he'd say. And I did. Even when I didn't understand. Even when the silence between us felt heavier than the words we never said. I trusted him, because his love didn't need to be explained, it was felt. It pulsed in the quiet moments, in the depth of his eyes, in the way he remembered every small detail about me that others always missed. Now, I understand. I understand why he kept parts of himself guarded, why he moved with such caution yet with such confidence. He was never hiding, he was protecting. Protecting a love he knew was rare, sacred, and too precious to be exposed too soon. He was shielding our promise from noise, from judgment, from doubt. And in doing so, he gave it time to grow into something powerful, something unbreakable. There is a rare kind of peace in being loved by a man of mystery. He doesn't throw promises like confetti. He speaks them once, and then he builds them into reality. And today, that promise has become the life I am living. No longer whispered in shadows, no longer tucked away in dreams. This love is real. This future is ours. It stands tall, noble, unshaken, just like him. Standing next to him now, I realize what it means to be chosen by someone like Sheikh Hamdan. It means walking in truth, not trends. It means being part of a journey written in silence, but lived in brilliance. It means standing beside a man who holds your hand in storms, and holds your heart in reverence. He may be a mystery to the world, but to me, he is home. A home built on the promise